Hi, welcome to our Morse Code bracelet making class. In your package, you should have received all of the supplies that you'll be needing for this project, except for a pair of scissors. You might want a piece of paper and a pencil or marker to write down your phrase that you're going to create. And you may want a pan or a plate, something you can put your beads on to keep them contained so they don't roll off the table. I'm sure if you've signed up for this class, you already know that Morse code bracelets have been really popular lately, and they're a lot of fun. You can create a phrase or your name on the bracelet, and you know what it says, but other people may or may not know what it says. So it's a lot of fun. They end up looking pretty cute. This is just kind of an example I made. And this one says read on it. So again, you can come up with a simple phrase or a name, anything that you prefer. Best friends, make one for you and your friend. Your packet of beads, we separated them out. You have some dots and dashes in your kit, as well as some lacing string. You have 50 of the ball or dot beads and 50 of the dash beads, so it should give you some good flexibility on what you're able to create. So I'm going to take you through the craft just pretty quickly here. I think it's pretty self-explanatory on how to thread the beads on, so I just want to show you kind of how to get started. And then again, in your packet we did include some really nice visual instructions on how you can create that sliding knot that allows you to put your bracelet on and tighten it a little bit. So that'll come in handy as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is a short video, but I just want you guys to have fun, and let's get crafting. Okay, so I think the first step in creating your bracelet is to determine what you want your phrase to be. And to make sure you have your beads laid out, I suggest maybe writing out your phrase and then lining up your beads underneath. So I created the bracelet that just says read, since this is the library. And so I'm going to go ahead and write out the word read. And then underneath it, I'm going to place the appropriate beads. So you can see that the R is a dot, dash, dot. So I'm going to place a dot and then a dash. Whoa, it's gonna roll away. And then a dot next to it, so I kind of know what I'm doing. The letter E is a simple dot. I told you guys to use a plate, and then I didn't do that here. So they're all gonna roll away. An A is a dot and then a dash. And then D is a dash with two dots. So that way you can kind of get an idea, whether you have enough beads and then you have the right order. So when you start stringing them on, you can just follow in a line, double check as you go. But this way you have everything prepped and ready to go for your phrase that you're using. I've seen some Morse code bracelets that they use a different colored spacer bead in between each of their letters. So you could do your letter R with the dot, dash, dot, add a colored bead as a space, then your letter E, then the colored bead, and so on throughout your message to kind of separate the letters. I personally kind of like the look of the beads being close together. Yes, you can't really tell where each letter stops and starts, but I know what it says, and I kind of like that look. So if you're wanting to have the letters separated, you would need to find some beads that you could use in between. The string we're using is a 0.5 millimeters, so you need beads with a hole that is a bit larger than the 0.5 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and scooch my beads out of the way since we understand that part. In your packet, you have a yard of the beading thread, wax-coated thread. It is much longer than you're going to need, but I think it's always good to have a little excess than not enough. Sometimes your edge gets a little frayed trying to push through the holes of the beads, and so you'll be trimming a little bit. You could also put, a little nail polish or something on the end to keep it from fraying, if that's just a little daub of it, and kind of smooth it out with your fingers if that's a problem, but you can keep trimming it back. That's not a big deal. So the first step that I would do is you need to make a decision whether you want your beads to be stationary, meaning they can't slide around, or not. Sometimes people like their beads to be able to move back and forth. I wanted mine to be kind of stationary. And so what you will do is kind of find where the middle of your thread is, which is about in here, and then go over a little bit. You're going to want to tie a knot in there, and you need it to be a little bit sizable in case you have a dash at the end. So go ahead and create that knot at the end, and that will be the side where you start stringing your beads on. And I'm not going to go through and show you how to string beads. I know you're all capable of doing that, but go ahead and string your beads on for your message, and they will land here. Once you get all of your beads in place, you will do the same thing on the opposite end. Tie another knot on the side of your beads to keep them secure. And that way they won't be moving around. Oops, I got a little loop in mine this time because I'm trying to go a little too fast. There. Okay, so then we would have our beads in between this point and this point. So your beads are strung on, you've got them secure. The next part is going to be tying your sliding knot. And again, in your packet, you have some really good visuals that I think will be much more helpful than watching me tie it on here, because you'll be able to see up close what's going on. I am going to walk you through this really quickly, but know that you're going to start with this and kind of go over in this manner to your final step. So we'll pretend that I have beads on there. You're going to cross over your two threads this way. You're going to bend one back on itself like this, so you can see that it kind of loops back over. Pinch the bent loop at the top like this, your loop. And then you're going to wrap that thread around 3 times. And then take that tail and put it through that loop that you were pinching. And then you will just gently pull. And that will create a nice little sliding loop for you, so you can adjust your bracelet. After you do that, it will look like this, and we have that sliding ability. And then you can cut your tails down a little bit if you don't want them dangling. I would put it on my wrist first to determine where you want that to be size-wise. So I need it about that wide, and I would trim here, and then I'd be able to pull my tails tight for my bracelet. So mine looks a little bit like that when it's in its full size, where I can get it over my wrist. So that is the Morse Code bracelets. They're a lot of fun. You can get beads, you don't have to use the silver. You can get beads about anywhere, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, or online. So lots of good options. The only thing to watch out for is just to make sure that the hole inside your bead is wide enough to fit through your bracelet string that you're using. So have a lot of fun with it. Morse code, you don't have to just use it for bracelets. Some of you might want to use it on paper and write secret messages and that kind of thing to friends. So thanks for crafting with us, and we hope to see you at the library soon. Have a great day.